It's always a privilege. It's always a privilege to be here, and this year is going to be very different because this is the first time we are having it online. Uh, I mean, I really miss the live event because I think Nature in Focus is all about that, right? Meeting so many people, enjoying the company of photographers and filmmakers. I think that's the spirit of Nature in Focus. But I guess, given this situation and the time, having this competition itself is a great thing. And my congrats to the Nature in Focus team for making this happen. Though, no, hopefully next year everything will be okay and we'll be back into the live sessions. This is the second edition of the Film Awards, and it's been pretty amazing the number of entries we've got. Not only for the Film Awards, even for the Photography Awards, the response has been amazing, and thank you all for being a part of it. So we got about 120 entries this year, which is pretty impressive for a film contest. And no, I'm sure must have been very difficult for you guys, considering the lockdowns and all the challenges coming with it to finish your films and upload them. But still, you managed to do it, and thank you so much for it. As far as the judging process itself, we had our own challenges because we couldn't meet or we couldn't discuss films, but we managed it online, and which in itself was good fun because I think we could get onto these calls and discuss and watch some of the films and debate the results. So we have a lot of stories for you this evening, and I will begin by inviting the jury online. So the first person I'd like to invite is a multiple award-winning filmmaker. She is the founder of Dusty Food Productions and also of Green Hub, which is an extremely inspiring initiative where young people from Northeast India are brought together and trained in wildlife filmmaking. And the amount of talent that comes out of the place is amazing. And I'd like to invite Rita Banerjee on screen.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Rita. How are you doing?
Good.
How is life in lockdown?
Life in lockdown's pretty cool. Yeah, not bad. Yeah.
Not bad.
Safe till now. Yeah.
Safe till now. That's great. I think that's probably the only thing you can wish for from everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, cool. I'm waiting to hear from you on all the stories of the of your lockdown and the judging. The next person I like to invite on screen is a director, filmmaker, and writer who's done a lot of international productions. And her last series and probably best known series is On the Brink, which has gone to 2 seasons. I'd like to invite Akansha Sood.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Rita.
Hi, Akansha. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Yes, cool. So I'll get on the other people and we can round to our show, right? Yeah. The next person I'd like to invite is what I think is probably the pioneer of wildlife photography in India, even though she would not agree to it. I think at the time when there were 10 or 20 photographers in the world, she was tramping around India and creating amazing images, I think, which inspired the generation. It certainly inspired me. And I'd like to invite Joanna Van Grusen on stage.
Thank you, Sarah. That was a very sweet entry. It's good to be here.
It's totally true. It's absolutely true because I remember my days in Wildlife Institute when I saw you there and I was like, oh my God, I need to do that. Okay. So the next man in, the next man in is a new age wildlife filmmaker. Okay. He's a mix of modernity with a lot of tradition backing behind him. And I think we all voted him as the supermodel for this whole event.
Correct.
I think he's a presenter, an adventurer, a teacher, explorer, and many good things. And most of all, I think he's a really wonderful person and a great person to have on jury. I'd like to invite Gautam Pandey.
Where are all the flowers for all the crew members?
Cool. The next person I'd like to bring on is somebody who adds diversity to the jury. I think if you have a jury where everybody agrees with each other, it's pretty boring. And there is somebody who has to disagree, and for the right things. He is a scientist, and he brings science, accuracy, conscience to the jury. While we are admiring the cinematography and the editing, he's the one who wants to make sure the film is scientifically accurate, and I think that's very critical to bring balance to this whole judging process. And I'd like to invite Raghu Chundawat, whom I've known for many years. He's been my professor and a great friend. Hi, Raghu.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, everybody. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Okay. Hello. So I'd like to invite two more people. One is the world famous wildlife photographer and filmmaker who everybody knows and admires. Glenn, can I bring you on?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sarah.
I don't think I need to introduce you also. You save me a lot of time. Everybody. But yeah, Kalyan is a great friend for so many years, and it's such a pleasure to have him here. And is Rohit online? Hey, Rohit. Okay, the other.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
The other person who, because of whom we're all here, the founder of Nature inFocus and the man who has made all this happen. Welcome, Rohit. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. So yeah, I think the question that everybody is asking is, how are you guys going to make wildlife films in these times of lockdown? So what do you think? Where are we going, man? How is each of you dealing with this problem?
Backyard storytelling, for sure. I think that's what I'm doing. And using my phone. These phones are amazing. I had forgotten that there was this pro mode. And that was a game changer. It's amazing. 480 frames per second on the phone. Yeah.
At full HD?
Yeah. No, 720p. 720p.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think it got only for a second, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been enjoying that. I've been tripping out on that.
Yeah, I think with travel restrictions, I think and all the other things, I don't know if it's going to be a challenge to get back into the normal way of filmmaking. Do you agree?
I think it's going to take a while for normalcy to come back. But given, we, especially for me, I have small children and elderly parents at home. I would probably think a little bit more, play it safe and not step out so soon. I mean, not before January or probably spring next year.
But I think this year, some of the entries were made during the lockdown. So it's given people an opportunity to look at the wildlife in their backyard, as Gautam was saying. And there's some quite cute little films with just what they could see from their balcony and terrace, which gives a new perspective on wildlife filmmaking altogether, which could be positive.
Yeah, I think they were as interesting, which is the great thing, right? In fact, some of them were quite stunning that you could come up with films like that.
I think interest in something like this has to start with what's in your backyard, As a newcomer, someone who wants to explore, I think this is really the way to go to start off with.
I think it's going to push people to be more innovative, I guess, really push themselves and see where they can find the stories. And it's also pretty interesting because we've been speaking to fellows from all across where they're stuck, even they can't travel even in the rural areas, because of the lockdown. But and it's been very tough, especially in all the wildlife areas for the forest guards and things like that. So I guess people who are based wherever, they have to cover whatever is happening. So one can get a larger perspective of how COVID is, impacting people everywhere. So it's really a time to connect, I think, in different ways.
I think Kalyan has been doing a lot of shoots now. How's it going? I mean, has the industry opened up for you?
So, actually, officially, we don't have any lockdowns now in most of the country. I still feel unsafe to fly, but the crux of the matter is that I feel safer being in the forest than in a big city. So I actually rather do more field shoots at the moment than be in Bangalore where I might catch COVID. So I've just come back last night. I spent the last 1 month filming wolves, which is great. But yeah, I've been out. And again, it's opportunistic. I think me and Rohit have been out just outside Bangalore filming some stuff. So with those thing in mind, I think we can go on in some sense. Yeah.
True. I think it's going to be very different from, I don't know how different we don't know, and what the difference is we don't know, but I think we might not be. I think it's the general paranoia. I think is that's going to be the one that's going to determine how things are, right?
Sarah, is
I
I think it's the uncertainty that makes it frustrating, because you can plan if you know that 2 months down the line, so you can make yourself busy or occupy something, prepare it. But the uncertainty of how long is the killer.
No, I
Very
think
true.
what Ida was talking about, that people are more innovative and creative, and they are finding opportunities in their backyard, in the area surrounding where they are, and they are still able to find those stories which they can narrate it. So, as even Akansha was talking about, it's that people are going to become more creative. So it's like a challenge, and in that challenging time, you're able to find ways and means of able to document and maybe narrate some interesting stories.
I think what is great is in this thing is the technology that's really surfaced because of the lockdown, right? It's amazing, so much of post production and file sharing and collaborations online, which is incredible. I don't know where these guys were hiding all these years. I mean, if they had brought it up, our lives would have been so easy, if they had brought it up 2 years ago. I'm sure that it's all been up and ready. It's just no, I mean, post production and film production is going on smoothly for us. It's just that you can't go out and shoot, but if you have the footage, to produce a film is absolutely seamless. No, you don't have to have people coming into the studio or working. You can just edit anywhere and share, and it's
And
brilliant
now it's
actually.
and now it's available to everyone because you have online systems that allow you to edit and sound and do everything. So any person can become a filmmaker and be creative, which is very exciting, I think.
Yeah, it's brilliant actually. So yeah, coming to our experience in judging the film, I think it's pretty exciting to see so many really good films come up, right within our country, and young talent. I'm see, to me, when Rohit had asked me about these setting up the film awards, I said I think the whole primary reason for the awards is to encourage Indian talent and non-professional talent. It's to recognize upcoming talent and give them an opportunity to showcase the work. And in that, the emerging talent categories have been very impressive, right? What do you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think really exciting to see what's happening all over the country, especially from the emerging category.
And in terms of, I know this is something that we should talk after the awards, but maybe we should just get away with it. Is that where do you think this whole festival is going? Where do you think it should go in terms of the kind of kind of entries we get, and what are the kind of films that we would like to see in the future?
Yeah, I think every year we have some really good entries, but I think it goes down to storytelling. I think there has to be a lot of work on storytelling, I think. And with this kind of festival happening every year, I think filmmakers also need those platforms, to show the films. And only when you have this kind of competition will you have more and more films coming out from different areas. So I think it's very important to have it. And I think with every festival, we should hope that people are pushed to, kind of push their boundaries in every way, not just with the story, even with the technical stuff, the sound, the research. Like one of the things we discussed was the kind of research which should go into films. So I think these festivals really are a way for people to push their boundaries, and for all the new filmmakers or upcoming filmmakers, I think they can really,
And I think we need to encourage it amongst entrants, because some of them did fall down from lack of research, good footage that they didn't recognize or they wrongly interpreted. And, it's so easy now to actually do research online. But I think when we advertise the films, we should, give some little direction, especially in the emerging category, as to, what we're looking for in terms of strong storyline and technical issues and how to find it, and just to give some little direction so people aren't just sort of shooting off in the dark.
Yeah, I would also add to that, saying that There's so much of content now coming out, and I would definitely want newcomers to see more and more films. Push their limits of creativity, like Rita said, in terms of storytelling. That's what's very important. Eventually, doesn't matter how you've made the film, whether it's on a mobile camera or a 8K camera. It's the content that you're putting out there. What kind of an impact is it going to have on the audience's mind, and whether they will be able to retain that. So it's very important that your content stands out and creates an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the
For
things
me,
is-
there are a couple of things that just stand out is that this year we had some international participation, and so if the competition goes international, that will raise its profile, and more people will try to compete. That's will be we looking forward to that, and also we're looking at some of the very common, and so many times the subjects have been dealt with, and very innovative way they were presented. And I think that's very encouraging. I think that the trend setters, you can call, are there, and they're not just one or two. There were quite a few in this event. So I'm looking forward to that. That new trend setters.
Yeah, one of the things we noticed with a lot of the entries were they were kind of montages, right? They were just visuals with music put onto them. I
Yeah.
think that those films were outshone by the ones where there's a narrative, where somebody took it and tried to tell a story. So, it will be great if somebody, rather than just putting together a montage of those and music, try together a story. It becomes so much more powerful when you have the material. So now that's something that I'd like to see in the future, and not just musicals, but stories. No, build a
Yeah,
narrative around what you have.
because there's so much pressure to because of everyone around you to just produce something and post it, that people are not diving deep enough. And
Yeah.
if it's a little moment, you try and build it, try and make it a minute long or whatever, and just post. And then it's about all the the likes or whatever reposts and stuff like that. And back in the day, there was a reason why films took so long to make, and you immediately feel the difference when it was years of research and shooting, reshooting, and telling a story, and
And
it just feels
also,
like a wholesome meal
sorry.
as opposed to.
And I
Sorry,
was
Raghu.
just thinking that funding is also a kind of limits it, and most of the time, you see a lot of films were from the forest department funded. So the funders or the producers' interest is different, and that's the compromise is there. I think there is something where we need to encourage for beginners is that funding sources available, and that sometimes limits it to be very to go out of way and do some extraordinary film. But I think
Yeah.
you can see there are a lot of good research film, but they kind of suffer from because it's funded by forest department. They want certain things, but I don't think there's talent problem. I think that those are things we all have to work how to get better fundings for the films. Yeah.
Rohit, what do you,
Yes,
Rohit
sir.
and Kalyan? I think where do you guys want to drive this whole film awards thing, and as from Nature in Focus's point of view?
I mean, I think what Raghu mentioned is very important point, and I think we thought about it last year as well, is to have some kind of grants of various sizes, which can help support filmmakers who want to tell stories. Unfortunately, this year we were thinking about it, but because of COVID and a lot of reasons, just couldn't put it together. But I think, and some of these budgets don't have to be huge. I think, like Tumna has mentioned, a lot of people can do stories from the backyard and things like that. And conservation stories as well, which doesn't cost so much compared to like a blue chip film where you need to go to a national park and things like that, right? So I really think that we will hopefully by next year have a system in place where we can have the small grants for people. And also, we've had this from day one of NIF since 7 years, and we always have workshops and tutorials related to video filmmaking and things like that at the festival. If things don't improve by next year, we'll probably have to have a virtual event like the way Jackson Hole and Wild Springs are doing this year.
So I had a bit of a chat with Akansha when she was in Bangalore a few months ago before the COVID period, and we were talking about reintroducing the workshops specifically for the filmmakers. From storytelling to the research to the pitches, how do you work on all those things? So there are two parts to it. That one bit of an education, because when you look at the wildlife filming in India, it is just evolving right now. We are in a growth phase. If you look at earlier scenario a few years ago, you could count the filmmakers on your fingertips. But looking at the number of entries, a lot of people are showing interest. What they need is a direction. So you all, like Rita, Kansha, Raghu, all the people, Gotham, we can look at creating some of those modules where we are able to share information with them, so that they can improvise on their skill sets and produce a great films. And as Kalyan said, we surely want to do that at some of those great ideas, concept notes, what people are able to present, we are able to give them some grant to make that film happen.
That'll be a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So we can all apply, right? Or is it really-
You just can't apply. You are the ones who are going to, take the tutorials and give the gyan and knowledge sharing part of it.
We'll become the
You're the
execs on the
mentors.
good ideas.
But
We'll become the
Rohit,
execs
also
on the good ideas.
what I was quite amazed this lockdown, and we were going through, and I had some sound which I wanted to kind of put together, and I realized that you have all over the world talents available with very little money. They're ready to do your editing, sound mixing, at any cost level. You can look at the style you want. You can ask them what you want to do. It's all available to you now. It's just not there earlier. Our days it would be few studios in England or some places you have to take footage, and now the whole world is out there, and they can do it with maybe if you have $50 or something, like you can find somebody who can do editing for 4 or 5 clip or something like that, or mix the sound. It's
You're
quite
so
amazing
right.
actually what's available.
Yeah, so you're so right that COVID has actually given us some direction also. A lot of things got opened up, as Sarah was talking initially, and you're talking about it. Courtesy COVID, we could find different opportunities, we could find different avenues, we could find different ways of working. Okay, with all the limitations what we had, but just opened up because internet is making things happen. You could collaborate with a person sitting somewhere else, working on your project at a low cost, and you can still make things happen.
So that's amazing, actually. So we have to move on to the presentation ceremony because Akansha has to leave for another little commitment. So can we move on to the awards presentation? Maybe come back to this conversation.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So thank you for all your insights. So hopefully we'll try and follow this up later on after the awards presented. So let's come to the most awaited part of this event, which is the award presentation. So, I mean, as you had noticed, that I think it was pretty challenging trying to go, come up with winners and other categories, considering the quality of all the entries. And I mean, it was great fun, but it was also a lot of back and forth. So the first category we are going to talk about is emerging talent, which, as I said, was established mainly to encourage Indian filmmakers, with very little professional experience. Because I think there are lots of festivals that promote pros, but an upcoming filmmaker, especially from a country where there's very little scope for exposure to wildlife filmmaking, I think we wanted Nature inFocus to be that platform, and I'm so happy that it's becoming that because of the kind of films that we're getting and the kind of people who are participating in it. So the first category for the evening is Emerging Talent Natural History, and the nominees for that award are
This female has just given birth to her first baby. She may lag in parenting experience.
Is not backing down. This fight can...
The male owlet spends his daytime guarding and defending his nest site from...
But nothing can match up to the speed of the Usain Bolt of raptors, the peregrine.
I'd like to invite Akansha on screen to give away the awards. Hey,
Thanks,
Akansha.
Sarah. Hi.
So yeah, what are your words of wisdom for this category?
I think it's any film festival, it's always very tough. When you look at all the entries that have come in, and you have to decide who the nominees are, and then decide, the winners. It is quite challenging. But this year, looking at all the entries, I must say that I'm very impressed with, the talent that exists out there. They need the right direction, they need the right platform, and I think NIF does that. So I'm very glad to see this. And what really pleases me is that, people are actually exploring stories of habitats and species that don't get enough visual space. They don't even you don't see them on traditional television. They don't even tend to go viral. And I'm very glad that the winners and the special mentions we have, are looking at those kind of habitats and animals.
It's brilliant, right?
Yes.
I think when we started this, we started off in this journey, and I'm so glad we're going in the right direction in terms of this award. And I'm really looking forward to the years to come to see how these young people, take over from people like you.
Yes, they will. They should. They should.
Okay, so I will let you declare the winners and everything.
All right. The first special mention for this evening goes to Fan-Throated Lizard, Undisputed King of the Arid Landscape by Dheeraj Zanwar and Pranit Bora.
Since I think we have to do our own applause here.
Oh! Okay, the second special mention goes to The Falling Kingdom by Sanjeevi Raja.
Again, I think it was a brilliant film, right? It was very nicely done. Yeah.
Yes. And now the winner is Rearing Giants by Dipen Rangmang and Thejavo Chase from the Green Hub. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was such an amazing film. I think everybody should find the time to watch it. I don't know where it is. We'll have to find out where it is, but I think it's such an amazing film. It was so new to me. I've never seen it. I didn't even know something like this existed. So I think it's amazing.
When I remember looking at the list and I'm saying, oh, an elephant film,
Yet
but it's not an elephant film.
Yeah, it is far from it. Yeah. I think it's an amazing storytelling and brilliant.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you, Akansha.
Sorry, can I just say one thing?
Of course,
and I think this film is a good example of what, when you work together as a team and you kind of reach out to people to give you feedback on, to improve your skill, to improve your story. Green Hub obviously has works as a great mentor for newcomers, and I think people should try to build that little network around them who they can show their films to and pitch their ideas to get feedback and improve on their ideas and skill sets.
Okay, cool. And just to add to this, because this was a Green Hub film, Rita did not take part in the judging process. So it was, she opted out, and so it was the rest of us who came up to this decision. So just to put it on record. Okay. Thank you so much, Akansha, and good luck for your workshop. So I'll catch up with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. So that was amazing. So the next category is emerging talent conservation. Conservation films are always very difficult to make because they lack the glamour of pure wildlife, and they're always very difficult topics with complicated connections and emotions, and they're always controversy. So it's always difficult to make conservation films that are interesting and captivating. But I think many of the entries in this category were very inspiring. At least the efforts that people have taken to tell a story and emotionally engage your audience, especially for some people who are not trained in this or people who are not experienced in this. So this category was very inspiring. So the nominees for this category are
to know that the people are not completely aware of men.
Life in these young mountains is supported by the vivid forest.
I call myself a forest person. I dwell in the city, but
One Long has rich biodiversity.
I'd like to invite Joanna up on stage to discuss this.
Hi again, Sarah.
Hi, Joanna. There's light on your face. Nice to see you again.
There is now.
So
Yeah, no,
what are your thoughts on this category?
Well, I agree with you. I think it was a very exciting category, this one, and there were some very strong entries here. And for us, it was just wonderful because it, took us from north to south, young and old, mangroves to mountains. There was so much variation. And like Kanja was saying, one of the things that really appealed was that there was a welcome attention on the smaller, less charismatic species. But the what really stood out was the fantastic conservation that's being done on the ground by individuals and the local communities. And that's what this really brought to the fore. Especially, how even one man can make a difference. Or one person, rather. So we really enjoyed this category.
Brilliant.
And I
so
think
would you like to
it's a very strong selection. So we have 2 special mentions before I announce the winner. So the first special mention is The Veins of the Himalaya by Rishabh Jagi, which was a delightful film on the ecosystem and the
it's actually really nice, right? It's very impressive, and to make a film about plants and it's
water, which is such a that was one of the things that was so pleasing to see, the awareness that everybody had of the crucial conservation issues of today. And this one really highlighted the water and the danger of losing half our springs in the Himalaya. So congratulations to
absolutely. I think
all those involved. So the second special mention goes to The Birdman of Chirao by Shashank Bhosale, which was a fantastic little film, which really highlighted, the difference that one person can make, whoever you are. And again, there was a lot of attention to the smaller creatures of the ecosystem, and just a wonderful little film.
It's brilliant. Actually, I think it's very emotional, right? The fact that the way it was shot and the person himself was very nice on screen.
Exactly, it brought you in, and you really enjoyed the story. And he was a Marathi medium student who skipped his 10th year exam to take tourists out, and that was the start of a 25-year journey to this delightful film that taught us about it.
Brilliant, actually,
And so we get to the winner. So the winner of this section is Guardians of Turtles by Naman Govil and Mithun Tien.
Another brilliant film, right?
Yeah, really lovely film. And again, very based in the community and showing how much a community can do, in this case, a fishing community. So it was just very appealing for its very positive story, told from the grassroots fishing village, the individuals of those who were impacted by the degradation themselves and actually turned it around and did something, not only for their fishing, but also, for the creatures that they share the habitat with, the turtles. So that was a really exciting film to enjoy.
I think actually the conservation films for this category are really amazing. Actually, and I was far more impressed by that than I can't say natural history, but it was very impressive. The effort and the way they've told the story and the depth to which they've gone to create these films. So well done to the filmmakers.
I agree, and to those that weren't mentioned, there were many excellent ones there also. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Joanna.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to the next category, which is mobile moments. So basically, we instituted this section more as a fun aspect to this film awards, because I think as there are far more number of people walking around with mobile phones and shooting wildlife than there are filmmakers. But actually, when we saw the results of the entries, it's pretty amazing that the amount of natural history people have recorded with their mobile phones. So I think it was a good decision to do that. And here are the nominees for the section. I noticed there are a lot of B images in this, but yeah, but actually there was a lot of variety. I'd like to invite Rohit on screen to give away this award.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Rohit. So
Hi.
yeah, I think we have been long talking about what is the future of filmmaking in India. Maybe it's going to go the mobile way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so because the current mobile phones have got amazing cameras. Even Gautam was talking about the same thing that you actually can make a film just using the mobile phones. So, and I see that kind of footage what was shown right now. People did manage to get a lot of great footage using their mobile phone. So, I see there's a huge potential where people are able to use their devices, what they have in their hand, and make some amazing short films.
So I think that's what I'm saying. I think with a lot of accessories coming on to to be attached with mobiles in terms of lenses, I think maybe in a decade or so, maybe even less, they might become a very primary way of creating films, especially if you're looking at social media and all that.
Yeah. So we don't know about the broadcast quality as such, but for a social media part of it, I see it is very easy to create a film which is of 3 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe a minute film, and able to narrate some great stories. What people are able to shoot either in their backyard or when they are out, and they find something great, and they are able to weave a story around that. So mobile phones with the accessories, I think it is just evolving, and we can see a lot of great content coming out through the mobile phones.
Yeah, I guess at this point, I think the mobile moment is just one piece of natural history, but I think maybe in the future we should consider putting up slightly longer versions as well, where people shoot and edit and create a complete film rather than just a moment. I think that'll be interesting to maybe push forward. In the future.
Yes, I completely agree. I think we should take it forward for the coming years, where the people are able to make the complete film using the mobile phones. So shot, edited, narrated, and then the whole film has been done using a mobile phone.
Yeah, I think that'll be quite pretty exciting. I don't see that being too far away. It should happen soon.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I'll let you announce
so,
the winner.
So the winner is Artisans in Nature, Akash Dulas.
So it was an amazing.
Congratulations.
It was a really beautifully shot clip. It's not so easy to get this thing. And this was such a beautifully shot behavior. It's amazingly fast. In fact, I was even sure it was shot on a mobile. It was so well done, good quality, and he had the patience to see the whole thing get done. Which is great natural history, and this is what we want to see. To bring animal behavior to the public, and to do that with a mobile is amazing. So hats off to him for that.
Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you, Rohit.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So the next category is we go to the professional category, so the professional category includes people from around the world. So it is and people who are one of the key characteristics for that is people who have received funding for their production. So it's a slightly different league, and the quality of the films also reflected that. They were really amazing films, very well produced, very professionally done. And we had a huge number of challenges in judging these categories. And here are the nominees for the professional natural history category.
There are more than 7,000 that congregate at this lake.
The success is not immediate, but after
by names like bugs, bees, ants, and flies.
Though he was trying his best to feed the chick.
I'd like to invite Rita on screen to give away the awards.
Hi,
Rita.
Sarah.
Hi, Rita. This was the category where the most battles happened.
Yeah, I guess it was a very tough category for the jury this time, and it kind of left. I think we had a lot of discussions, and also it left us in a bit of a dilemma because I think there were a lot of really good films, and the interesting part was that you also had international entries, like we just saw in the nominees. But I guess while the films were very well crafted, there were two things which were happening. Some of the films, we couldn't figure out whether they actually fitted into the natural history category. Like, they were about the habitat, they were about the birds, but whether it really fitted into the natural history category is one thing which happened. And the ones which kind of fitted into the natural history category, like somewhere we felt maybe the storytelling could have been stronger. So in that sense, we were, it was a very difficult decision. And we finally decided that ultimately this is a festival, a very prestigious festival, and we already know, the photography, how, the levels of photography, the levels of filmmaking. So we felt none of the films, while they were very good films to watch, and I would suggest everybody to watch them, I don't think there was a clear winner in it. So we actually decided not to really give a winner's award, but we do have special mentions.
I think it was a big heartache for all of us. This is something that we didn't want to be in, but at the same time, I think it's important that we hold to our values. That is, we have to set a goal for ourselves. Set a So sadly, we only have special mentions for this section. So would you like to announce them?
Yeah. So we had 3 special mentions, and one of them, the first one, is Wings and Wetlands, a story of migration. This is by Raghunath Belur and Sugandhi Ganagar. Okay. And they're very well established. I remember their film last year also.
Yeah.
They make lovely films. So it was a very beautiful film to watch, beautiful shots, and definitely deserves a special mention. Yeah. So the next one was an international entry called Capuchin Culture. This was by Luca Antonio Marino. It was on a Capuchin family, and the struggles in a very harsh landscape. So again, very beautiful sequences, some natural history shots, but I think that's what we discussed.
The jury really struggled, and trying to place one thing that was outstanding. It was really a very difficult thing.
Yeah. And I think we had a third film also. So you can make out how the jury was really, struggling with the films, because they were very good films. So we decided on 3 special mentions. The third one is called The Birds of Play. This was by Upamanyu Das. And this was on this beautiful bird, a very intelligent bird called the Kia. And very fun sequences. And it was a combination of the filmmaker working with the researcher. And very nice humorous sequences also. So 3 really good films, and hope that all of you get to see it.
I know. I think I know the entrants would be pretty disappointed that there's no winner to this, but I think it will happen sometime. I think these are great films, and it will go out and do the things that they're meant to do.
I think the jury will be getting some dartboard shots pretty soon.
Anyway, okay, such is life. Thank you, Rita. I will go on to the next section. Thank you. The next section is professional conservation. Now, again, these are the films that were entered were some really impressive films that brought into light critical issues from around the world, and very well dealt with. Some of them very pressing and that need immediate action. And the nominees for this section are
Close, everyone. It is between 15 to 17,000 feet above.
During a regular monitoring visit to Bara Shigri Glacier, the team
the oceans, we still hunt.
I'd like to invite Gautam on screen. Hey, Gautam.
Is that better?
Sorry. Yeah.
So that's what the mute button is for.
Yes, it is. So if you can just repeat your golden words.
Yeah. So what I was saying is this category is a personal favorite of mine because conservation is something that I'm just drawn to by default. And over the years, I've seen it, evolve and change, and in good ways and some not so good ways as well. And I think it's somewhere become that category which is a bit of a checkbox or a tick, a bit easier to pull off. It's not natural history blue chip. You don't need to spend that much time out there. I mean, generally speaking. But it's such a great platform though for festivals to recognize conservation as a separate category. And I mean, you guys have done one step up and done emerging and professional. So you get to see 2 conservation films, which is amazing. Because I feel like somewhere there's a bit of glamour attached that I made something which is heartfelt or about the larger global issue and things like that. Somewhere I think issues get lost and people tend to lean into the popular species or animals, the ones that look cool or good. But there are so many conservation films out there now coming out, and they're quietly chipping away at these issues. The lesser known things, even insects, frogs. There have been a few films this year, and I think that's what's needed is for people to really make them with heart, with real intent of not making a film but making a change and creating that impact. And I think that's where conservation films will succeed.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you just put it in so well, right? It's about making a change, not trying to get people to convince people to do something different from what they're doing in the benefit of our environment or species. So
and it was great to see, like a couple of films they approached it differently, and that's what's fresh. The storytelling changed a bit, and that they need to draw in that newer audience. Break that 3-act structure, which I'm bound to as well, and I try to break it sometimes. Beginning, middle, end. So beautiful, pristine. Oh my God, so terrible, and then you must do something about it. And that kind of storytelling has become a bit tired and old for those audiences who don't care about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
The ones who are converted, who are probably watching, this award ceremony, they're already on board.
That's true. I think it's reaching out to fresh audience and the guys who are on the wall. I think that's probably the critical role that these films play, right?
Absolutely, because conservation films don't work if no one watches them, and that's the end game.
Absolutely, yeah. You just nailed it. Yeah. Would you like to? Yeah.
The winner is Peng Yu by Nitya Sood and Malaika, both of whom I know personally. Congratulations.
But it's great. I think it's extremely difficult film to make, but beautifully done, right?
Yes, absolutely, and important subject. And I hope they see it through to beyond the film, because I often say in my workshops about conservation films that the real work begins after the film is done. It's not really about the film. It's just about raising that issue and then just pushing that forward.
Yeah, I think they saw it through. I think what impressed the jury most about this film was the pains that they took to finish the journey, right? It's not, they didn't just superficially touch it. They just went right through and followed it up. And the film follows the journey.
And you can see they spent time on it and took the pains to tell it from different angles.
Yeah, and I think that's what swung the jury to its favor, if you can say that. Cool, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Gautam. Yeah. So for the first time, we had to bring in a new category, which is the Special Jury Award for a film that moved all of us, which was very fresh in the way it was dealt with, and it really raised our levels of awareness. I'd like to bring Raghu on screen to give away this award.
Hi, Sarah.
Yeah. Raghu, without mentioning the film right now, we should talk about what was so special about it.
I'm really happy that you giving me this opportunity to announce this award, because I really thought
love this film. Yeah, you love this film.
if I was the only jury, I would have given him the best film award. But I think it could be a trend. It's not the very common style of filmmaking, but I think it could be a trendsetter, because and what I really liked it is a subject which is very, very common. We have seen many films written about it and documented quite, but it's been dealt with very creatively, and I think that's what I liked about it. The filming style was also very different from the rest of the film. So for me, that film stood apart from most of the film, and because of this creativity, the style of filming, and also the storytelling was very different. Those are things which I thought, especially the storytelling, because it was very personal story. It connects you to the person. It then introduced to the subject. Then it also connects you very emotionally, and when it, as Gautam was saying, that unless you connect and the connect was there, and I think that was the really good, strong point of this. And I think I would like more such films happening, because it's such what's a joy for me to watch this film, and I think I suggest everybody to look into. And one of the things which I have seen is people have developed a style and then get stuck with this style, and then keep making film in the same style. And I would like them don't get stuck with this style, then create new styles and new films and new way of storytelling. And that I'm looking forward to their more films, and I'm really enjoyed watching that film.
Okay, I think before people die of curiosity, you should probably announce the winner of this award.
I hope I can pronounce it correctly. It's Kader, and it's the Faraway Originals and Polachi Papyrus, and I'm really congratulate them for this film.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really privileged to announce and be part of that production, not production, but announcing this, and I really wish them good luck.
Absolutely, I think the jury unequivocally agreed that this film was very special. It had to somehow be given an award, but the thing was, it didn't really fit in. It was a tough battle in the conservation category, because it was not nailing it in that thing. So I think all of us.
Not in my head. Not in my head.
I know.
It was winner, but yes, that's why the jury is there. It's not
we
me.
Decided that we'll institute another special thing for this particular film, and we're so happy to have got this for the awards. Yeah. Thank you, Raghu. So I think that brings in an end to the award ceremony. But can we have all the jury back on screen?
One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, yeah. We're missing Akansha. So, but everybody is there. Jonas, Raghu, where's Raghu? Raghu's there. Yeah, everybody in. So so lovely, man. So it was a very inspiring bunch of things, and I think to go back and give these awards really brings back memories of the judging sessions and all the debates that we had. It's brilliant, yeah. So taking it forward, what do you guys think? What are the tips that we need to give people so that we get the next version of inFocus Film Awards? What are we looking for here?
I think one of the key discussions which came up, I remember during the, this, especially with the conservation section, because we felt that maybe there should be another category with shorter length of films, because actually you have a lot of brilliant natural history films being made in India now, like a lot of young people making really good films, but some of the categories would not allow them to kind of enter it into NIF, because neither is it a feature documentary, nor is it it may not fit in the emerging category either. So maybe we can think of introducing some category. That was one of the discussions we had, which will help also for more entries to come in,
True.
And people who watching, Sarah, I think for me, I thought few things which has come up is that the films which are done very creatively got the attention. The stories which we didn't know, completely new and dealt with quite nicely, like the film from the Northeast about giant, the raiding giant. So the things, people who going to make film or participate next year or in future, some of the things will be to find a good story which is not common, not no, but important stories. Or if it's a common story, then the ways to treat it differently than is so far has been treated. I think I'm look forward to that kind of trends in the future of
Yeah,
this
true. I guess
festival.
that's what festivals do, right? They kind of, they direct filmmaking to a certain, based on how the jury works and how what kind of decisions you make. Somehow they influence the filmmaking of that particular geography. That happens all the time. So it's good that we had an opportunity to see these films and also know about them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll just add to these thoughts. Absolutely agree with both views, and also just to say that it's don't focus on making just a beautiful visual. We all like them, but challenge yourself a bit more. If you've already nailed getting that money shot, and it feels easy to you, then you're not growing as a filmmaker, as a storyteller. So make it feel hard. If it's feeling hard, then you're probably doing something right. And push, communicate, get in touch with other filmmakers. I'm sure everyone on this panel is more than open to guiding upcoming, emerging people who are genuinely interested in telling important stories. So and to get the right kind of critique. Your friends telling you awesome and they spell it as OSM might not be the best part to go by.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
So yes.
I think.
Yes.
And
Sorry.
I think
Go ahead.
it's what Raghu and Joanna had when we were discussing. One of the things, and I think also in the initial conversation, one was the research aspect of it. Like, the really doing good research behind your stories, and which used to happen a lot. And I think that is important for any filmmaker, any new filmmaker, any filmmaker as such. And the other thing is spending a lot on the post-production. I think that's a very important, it's not just the shooting. Stories get made on the editing table. So, really spending, and it's very tedious, but it's a lot of fun if you really spend time looking at your footage, working out the story, not be in a hurry, like Gautam was saying, to put it out online. You have time to build those stories. So it's worth it to spend that 1 year, 2 years making that stories rather than coming out with a quick thing for an entry funding, no funding. You have to be mad about it. I mean, funding is one part of it, but you have to have that madness in your head, to do it.
A couple of things, Sarah, which I noticed was one was the sound treatment was, there's not much effort. I think that can really lift the thing. The other thing which I felt was, I'm not a filmmaker, but I'm just thinking it that I'm missing, is also the shots were from the same angles, of the 10 different birds with the same angle. And that's something I thought, can change. Hopefully, if they can bring that change, and then it will really makes it more interesting, I think.
I guess the answer to it is that all of us put some time into creating master classes.
Yeah.
I think somebody has to guide them, right? I think lots of these people, they really have the love and the passion and are willing to leg it, but I think there has to be somebody who guides them in the initial stages so that they get onto the right trajectory, and then I think then they'll take off.
But I think there are also a lot of very good films out there that, the more you watch, the more you can learn from the experts, the professionals, the ways shots get set up, the way a story is told.
But I think it's very difficult to dissect film just by looking at it if you don't even know how to approach it in the early stages, right? Once you have some basic skills, then it's easy to analyze it. But if you don't even know where to start, it's sometimes very difficult. No?
Yeah. But we need what Rita has created in Northeast, every nook and corner, maybe for 5 or 6 different places.
Let's clone Rita.
Yeah. Or her institute, many different places.
Yeah.
Amazing work. So if you guys haven't checked out Green Hub, Google it. Use Google for something that is meant to.
Guys, I haven't paid them for the PR, okay? Just
Who gave me this bag?
Raghu, I hope you've got your purse, the golden one.
One thing I would like to add, guys, is that one of the things I see a theme of all the winning images are they're all personal stories. I think it's a species that's close to their heart, a landscape that's close to their heart. And I really think that, I encourage all of you to watch this film on Netflix called My Octopus Teacher. It's such a personal story, beautifully told. Yeah. And I really think these are the flavors that we can get. I really think that you don't need to go to this other side of the world or other side of the country to make a story on an animal or a place. I think it's the personal stories that are always the most powerful ones. And I encourage filmmakers to do more of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great film.
And I think, My Octopus Teacher also was done in your backyard. I mean, happens to be a good backyard.
Beautiful.
That was quite an exotic backyard.
That's a very unfair backyard.
But there's also a very interesting write-up by Swati about how the film was made and the amount of thought that went into deciding on the story, and I think that's very educational to read. Just for the the passion, the interest, the change that happened, how the story evolved. It wasn't just there immediately. There was a lot of thought went into it, and I think that's worth reading on their site about it. But definitely a film to watch for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah. Seriously.
Rohit, any closing words from you?
Oh, you're muted, Rohit.
You're muted.
He's looking at his screen.
About the masterclass.
Yeah.
Tara, because that is what something which we have been talking about it. I think it's time to start implementing that. So plan it out. How do we want to do it? What kind of sessions we want to have it? Because all the people who are interested in doing a wildlife filming, and they can gain a lot from experience from everybody, either it's Rita or Kalyan or Gautam, Raghu, Joanna, Akansha, from you. So that is something which we should work on it. So that is, we must plan for it.
Yes, sir. You will coordinate it. Okay, guys, I think we should wrap up. It was such a wonderful time meeting you all here, and it was great working with you guys on the jury and off it. And I'm hoping to meet again next year. I'm sure we'll be meeting
next year
for this purpose. I'm sure we'll be meeting together anyway. So and
hope we actually meet. That'll be
really
nice.
So
we hope that things get into control, and we have a physical festival happening in 2021. So that will be a great thingy.
I'm missing it, man. I'm so missing Nature in Focus. This is great, but I'm saying the festival is everything. So I hope we can bring it back online.
Yeah, absolutely. Trust.
Yes. But till then, stay safe. Thank you so much for your times. We will see you all soon next year. Otherwise.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.